early middle school, I liked One Direction a lot.
Like, oh, yeah, shit.
I had a One Direction phase. So, I mean, I wasn't boy crazy, but I was like, I liked her shit. I don't know. I don't know what that was. I don't know if I was just trying to be different. I like the way this sang. I'll say it. I like the way One Direction sings.
What can
Sue me.
Sue me. Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Hand Me Down podcast. We're your hosts. My name's Natalia.
And I'm Alan.
And today we just want to say happy October. We're super excited. I said
Spooky
I wasn't gonna
season.
Spooky season. I said I wasn't going to say excited, and then I have the vocabulary bank of like a 12-year-old, I think.
I just think it's like a script. Like
Yeah.
when we both used to work at Taco Bell. When we would work at Taco Bell, it was like, hi, how are you? And then if someone was to veer off away from that script, oh my God, I would like freeze. I wouldn't know what to do. I was like a robot.
Like I would be like, hey, what can I get you today? And they're just like, hey, how's your day going? I'm just like, the cheesy gordita crunch. Yeah, that's $4.16. Just a total script. But
AI is here and it already replaced our jobs. We are the AI.
We are the AI. But yeah, happy October. I feel like, did we release last episode in October?
Yes, the last episode went up October 1st.
Ooh.
So.
Well, happy next week of October. Happy middle of October. Today is a special episode because we have a live studio audience. And they're just in the background. They're doing... There we go. That was loud.
That's loud. Anyways.
They're doing a little silent clap, a little golf clap. But yeah, we're super excited to be joined by them today, doing little producer roles. So that's gonna be fun. And that's our dance, our gratitude dance. Anyway, let's break down the episode for today. So today's episode is gonna be fun and full of music. That's the main topic of today's episode, is talking about music growing up Latino, which I think is gonna be really interesting because, as we've said in almost every episode, our differences and identities, Alan being first generation, me being second and third, I feel like that really shows up in our music upbringing as well.
Yeah.
So I'm like super... And
just the fact that we are Latina, it's just like, that just adds so much layers to it. It's a whole different, like if you have rock, but then you have rock en español, and then like every single genre that you could listen to in English, you also can listen to in Spanish, and I'm just like, fuck, that's a lot.
No, oh my God, wait, that reminds me of a quote that a teacher used to tell us growing up, that like when she was like encouraging us to like continue to practice the language and stuff, and she would say like, when you're bilingual, you're worth 2, or like you're worth double. And I'm like, well, we could enjoy a little rock and roll in English, a little rock and roll in Spanish. So, and then we might have we have special guests, the fucking flies that are just flying everywhere. It's a little bit of a problem. Sorry,
that was my impression. SNL, hire me. Anyways, let's get back to like breaking it down. Yeah,
let's get back to breaking it down. Sorry, we always get let's get back to breaking it down. We always get sidetracked, but as always, we start with a little bit of a warm up. And because it's October, we'll start a little spooky. Some spooky dooky stuff. Yeah. And then go into a little bit what we've been seeing on TikTok, as always. But starting off, how are you, Alan?
I'm good. I've been chilling. Still unemployed. If you guys are watching this, I'll be 100% transparent. It's tough out here, but this is keeping me sane.
Yay.
As always. Being creative.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think last episode I was talking about, I filmed it after coming home from work. Guess what? No more jobs. So I am also...
She didn't get fired. She quit.
I quit. I was a woman of power.
Yes.
I was
strong, independent. Made that choice herself.
Yeah. But anyways, so I'm glad to know that you're doing well and that
How are you?
Keeping creative. Also, same. Been keeping creative, and that's the only thing really keeping me sane right now. And then just the job market right now is just...
Yeah. So you heard that, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Keep us sane.
Keep my lights on, please. I'm just kidding.
But anyways,
so let's just get into the first part of the episode, which is happy October. Some little spooky stories to get into. First of all, Alan, Do you believe in ghosts?
I do. So much so that I always, whenever anyone would ask me that, I would look at them very stupidly and I'd be like, do you not believe in ghosts? Like, why is that even a question? Like, why is like no ghost even like in your mind? Like, of course they're real. Now I see why there's skepticism or I see why they are doubting. But I do. I don't know. Am I dumb for thinking that? I don't think so.
Thinking that other people were dumb? Or like for thinking that there's ghosts?
For thinking that there's ghosts.
Oh, no.
There's one right here. For our audio listeners, we have a cute little ghost.
We have a cute little ghost in our set today, which reminds us to do the housekeeping.
Oh, yeah. Housekeeping. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show and if you're listening on a podcast app, make sure to give us a 5 stars. And if it lets you leave a review, leave a good review. It'll help a lot. If you are listening on YouTube, go ahead and leave us a comment, share, subscribe.
Smash that like button.
I said comment twice, so that's 2 comments. You can also engage with us on social media at HandMeDownPod on Instagram and on TikTok. We actually just really want to hear from you guys. We want to make sure that this is a community and that we have, it's not just one-way communication, that you guys can communicate to us too. Let us know what you guys think about the episodes. If there's stuff that we talk about that you would like us to expand on or you want to expand on it, go ahead and hit us up on our social medias, or if you're on YouTube, comment down below. Thank you for watching, and
Hand Me Down Pod.
We'll get on with the episode.
Yeah, dang, we just did like 20 different tangents right now, and then we're like, okay, now let's go back on track, guys. Okay, so no, I don't think that it's dumb that you believe in ghosts. I think that it's very normal. But do you remember like what made that so normal for you? Because I feel like for a lot of people it was like
maybe just hearing stories about stuff.
Like what kind
like ghost stories or stuff that like isn't explainable unless there was ghost. Or I guess when I was a kid I was just like, well, what happens when you die? And then it's like, well, if you I didn't know how like the ghost economics of it work. Like, why do some stay and one some don't? I just thought that it made sense. I like the theory that they have unfinished business or whatever.
I like that theory too.
Yeah,
because I'm a fan.
Yeah, because what?
I'm a fan of that theory.
But that's, I don't know. You would hear stories of like, oh yeah, my newborn baby before, or like once they started talking, they were like, yeah, I met your mom or whatever, talking to their parents. Like, yeah, I met like my grandma or whatever. And they're like, how if she died before you were born or whatever, like a day before you were born? I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
How do you explain that? Yeah. Or like people who like die and like see shit and I'm like, oh, and then they come back to life. I don't know, stuff like that. But you're more into this, I think, than I am. So let's hear from the expert.
I'm a believer. Yeah, I was former ghost. I was kidding. Justin Bieber. No, I feel like I also grew up around. It was weird because my family, like the parental figures, the adult figures, were very much like, there's no such things as ghosts. Like, and I feel like that had to do with like a bit about like the Catholicism, I think, that I was raised around. They're just like, no, like it's nothing scary, you just gotta pray. And just,
but I feel like I was like also raised as Catholic, and I feel like that was even more of a reason to believe in ghosts.
That's what
like
I would have thought too.
That's why I think that's why I was like, there's like no doubt in my mind that there's ghosts.
I think there was definitely talks about like demons and stuff, but like ghosts, like regular people, like
I see. Like they go to heaven.
Like, yeah, and they go to heaven and
I see. So their theory is like only evil ones stay here,
kind
or
of
go to hell.
Kind
no, but that doesn't make sense because then they would go to hell. Christians,
hell is here.
Hit our line.
Hell is the 405 Los Angeles. But Christians hit our line. Sorry, that took me a while. No, but because I remember my mom being super skeptical all the time, or like, because I really liked watching scary movies, specifically only movies about like ghosts and stuff. I don't like gore. She would watch them with us, and she would like always just be like, like that's just a bunch of phony baloney and like stuff like that. So but I feel like movies, TV shows, specifically like the Ghost Hunter TV shows, made me believe a lot in like ghosts and stuff like that. And then little spooky encounters myself. I feel like
yeah, it's weird that I do believe as strongly as I do, because I've never had an encounter. Knock on wood. I'm knocking on every single piece of wood that I can find. I've never had a spooky encounter, but I still believe. People have told me, and that's enough for me to be like, yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm just like, because you know, a lot of people are like, oh, they're just crazy. Like, they're just making things up in their head. But I'm like, no, some things have happened that are like kind of inexplicable.
Would you like to open up?
Should I be vulnerable right now, guys? Let me see.
Welcome to Disney, and this is the time that...
this is the time that I saw a spooky little guy. No, I have a few. I feel like the one that I would share today is maybe one that happened at my Nino's house back in the day. Mm-hmm. My Nino had a house where I kind of feel like there was a little something going on. I feel like, and it wasn't just me that felt that way. It was like spooky shit, like just it just felt
vibes.
Like yeah, the vibe. It did not pass the vibe check. It didn't. Beautiful, gorgeous house, but like just like the land that it was on, maybe not. Yeah. But one time I was sleeping over at my cousin's house, and she fell asleep like right away. And one thing about my cousin, she's a heavy sleeper. And so her room had a bathroom that was a connected bathroom to her brother's room, which is next door. Mm-hmm. And so in the middle of the night, like there was like knocking on the bathroom. So I was like, oh, it's her brother, who at the time was really little. And I was like, oh, he probably wants to come in. Like, and so I opened the door and there was nobody there. And I was like, hello? I was like, what the heck? And then I closed it again. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. I was probably hearing stuff. And then the door starts knocking again. And I was just like, okay, well, now he's playing a joke on me. Like, let me just go check on this. And so I opened the door to the bathroom and I go through the bathroom to the other room, and he's sound asleep, like in his bed. Like he's just asleep in his bed. And so then my next thought was her other brother who was having like a sleepover that day. I was like, okay, him and his friends are punking me right now. Like they're trying to be all like, like trying to play a joke. And so I went upstairs and they were playing video games like upstairs. And I was just like, do you guys need something? Like, why are you knocking on the bathroom door? And they were just like, what are you talking about? Like, we've been trying to beat this fucking level of like Super Mario Bros. For like the past hour. And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean? And they were just like, no, like, I swear it wasn't us. Like, no, we've been here playing this game for like a fat minute. And I'm like, oh shit. So I was like, So I like ran back downstairs and I went into my cousin's room and I like closed all the doors and I like tried to go to sleep, but when I'm really scared I can't sleep, obviously. And the whole time my cousin was just sound asleep, and I hear it again and I try to wake her up. And I'm like throwing toys at her. She has a bunch of toys. Some of them are plushies, some of them are like harder toys, like Barbie dolls. And so I start with the plushies. I'm just like, wake up.
It's still going on.
Like, no, it just like happened that one. Like after I came back, after trying to settle down for a while, it happened again. And I was like, I was like, wake up, like just trying to throw the plushies at her. She wasn't waking up, so I started throwing the hard toys at her. I was like, bitch, if I'm going down, you're coming with me. What the hell? And then she like woke up and I was just like, there's knocking on the door. And then she was just like, yeah, like I kind of don't like sleeping in here. And I was like, I was like, what the heck?
Did she share more?
She would just always say that she would prefer to sleep in her sister's room, which is like down the hall. She was just like, I just don't like sleeping alone. And I was like, ugh.
That's not something nice to hear.
No, but anyway,
as a guest,
I still had hella sleepovers in that house. I was like,
well, yeah, I think it's like that. It's a sleepover.
Yeah,
I feel like it's not as scary, but if you believe in ghosts so much, why isn't your first thought a ghost?
Me?
Like I guess because it's still scary, right? You're trying to like... Yeah,
because I'm trying to like not think of it like that, I think because also she has so many siblings that it's such a lively house anyway. So I was like, I hear knocking, immediately I'm going to think, oh, it's one of the siblings, because there's like so many people in the house. So yeah, I guess I was just trying to be logical about it because I was just like, oh, the first time it was her brother. No, it's not the brother. The brother's asleep. Okay, then it's the other brother. But yeah, dude, she was crazy.
Maybe she trained herself to be a heavy sleeper, so she wouldn't.
So she wouldn't have to deal with it. She was just like, not today. But no, that's one of my spooky encounters that I will share today. Maybe we'll share another one next episode.
I was frightened. I was.
He got chills down his spine, biting his nails.
I was thinking of doing it, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to distract you.
You can bite your nails now. Permission to bite.
They are getting long, but side tangent. I used to bite my nails a lot, and then I got braces, and that stopped me from biting my nails.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's kind of expensive to get braces.
Yeah, I was about to be like, solution, thousands of dollars. Get some braces.
But yeah, thank you for sharing. I would share, but I don't have any spooky stories of myself. Like I said, knock on wood, knocking on every single piece of wood that I can find. But speaking of spooky stuff, and I guess kind of crossing into like the internet, corner internet section of the podcast. You said that you wanted to talk about spooky stuff today, and one of the things that came to mind was talking about duendes and brujas, just because it's like that's a Latino thing to talk about. But when I thought of those two topics, I also thought of this TikTok that I had seen, and I don't think this is the original one, but I want you to watch it because I think it's so funny. So it's about a bruja. I think it's like these people who like hunt brujas in Mexico.
Oh, shit.
And it's always, I think it has like a shit ton of emojis on it, like on the video, and just like you'll see it. But let me get that fired up while you switch your headphones.
Okay. Should I say the caption for our audio listeners?
Yes.
Okay. The caption on the video says "Bruja se quiere llevar a un niño," or the witch wants to take a boy. Mm-hmm. So I'm scared. Let's see what this video is.
They're like at a cemetery.
¿Qué? Vente.
This video is long.
¿Te dolió hacerte en el espejo? ¿No te gustó? ¿Qué? ¿No te gustó el espejo? Cobarde, bájate de ahí. Bájate de ahí, cobarde. Mira lo que te tengo para ti.
Mire, va a volar.
Bájate, o vuela pues. Si eres tan bruja como dices, ¿por qué no vuelas? ¿Para qué? ¿Sabes dónde lo tienes que
Do you want to pause here? 34 seconds into the video.
34 seconds into the video. The way that I'm assuming she's a mom because she's scolding them like a mom.
I think it's so funny.
If it's set up, like they're really committing to this bit. And
well, I mean, it has to be set up, right? Do you believe in witches?
No, but like if it's just like also like somebody like on the roof.
I
like,
see.
Yeah, like it reminds me a lot of downtown San Jose.
What does that mean?
There's a lot of like homeless people on the roofs.
Oh.
And stuff. They're just like.
Oh my god.
Anyway, sorry.
Have you gotten? Because I'm not hearing it. Have you gotten to the part where she's like just making fun of it?
She's just kind of telling them to get down.
Like taunting it. Okay.
Yeah, like bájate, bájate.
¿Sabes en dónde lo tienes que recoger? ¿Para qué te haces tonta? Bájate. Bájate de ahí.
Quiero
Te
ver,
sientas
quiero
muy
ver.
débil. Sí, te sientas muy débil. Aquí lo tienes, ¿ves?
Güero, acércate a ella. Acércate ya, güero.
Tienes.
Acércate poquito, güero. Que huele por ti, es cierto.
A ver, aquí lo quieres, ahí está. Pues que también eres ciega, pues. Sí, también estamos para ver.
Is that a kid or is that a?
Yeah, they're just using the kid as bait.
No puedes hacerlo porque eres una cobarde. Eso es lo que eres, una
They're using the
cobarde.
kid as bait.
That kid has balls.
Ahí está.
He's just standing there.
Tiene loca. Yo no estoy cumpliendo. Aquí lo tienes. Tú es lo que no puedes agarrar porque eres una cobarde. Bájate de ahí. Bájate.
That's
117.
117. I saw the kid walk into frame and I was like, what's gonna happen?
So I think they're like making content, or like obviously, but I think it's like a bruja hunting show.
I see.
Because like they're like obviously like setting it up. Apparently the witch lost her power somehow. I don't know what they're using to make her weak, but they're just taunting her. I think it's really funny.
That's like the whole video. They're just
Yeah, the rest of it is just them taunting.
it's just them.
witch. Yeah.
They're like stupid little witch.
Which is like, damn, this lady is also brave as hell. Like, just to be talking shit about a witch like that.
Damn. Well, the witch is committing. The witch is committing.
Yeah, the witches, if that's an actor, they're doing a great job.
The voice?
Yeah.
The strain on their voice?
Do you think this is real? What chance is it that this is real?
You said this is like a channel that like specifically
I don't know if it's
does
channel,
this?
but this is the video that I saw because I searched up Bruja, then I searched up Bruja something else, and this one was the one that popped up. The other ones weren't. But it seems like it would be a channel or like a Facebook, maybe on Facebook.
Like
maybe it's more popular on
Facebook
Facebook.
thing?
Mexicans love Facebook.
Yeah, no. I feel like because of that context, I might think it's like
Fake.
set up. Yeah, fake.
Also, because they're getting good audio of the witch, right?
Yeah. Well, she sounds at a distance, but like she's committed. She's committed.
The reason why I think this is fake, and I don't know, maybe I'll be wrong about this, but I feel like witches and duendes are very like, it's like a Mexico and like a Latin American thing, but like specifically kind of like Mexico. So it's just like, why don't they come to the US? Or like, you get me? Like I feel like it, like these types of like, what are they called? Cryptids, right? Is that the word?
No sabo.
These type of cryptids are like regional, but I guess it's like animals, you know, like there's not calling the witch an animal, but like, there's
Don't
like,
call her that, she's gonna come after you.
I'm sorry. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it could be like there's like certain animals in North America, South America, you know.
That's true. I had like totally forgotten that like that is like a regional thing, like duendes especially. Cause like we might have had a case of duendes at our old place.
Yeah, I'm scared. But yeah, I feel like I hear about brujas a lot in Mexico and not really here. I mean, you like hear, but they're like different.
Because it's like witches and then there's brujas. Like,
yeah,
they're very different.
But that was a bruja video that I wanted to show you. I thought it was really funny when I saw it a while back. And now we're gonna talk about duendes. If you don't know what duendes are, they are these. Are they elves? What would you say that in?
They're little guys
in English. But yeah, they're just like little little magical figures.
About yay big.
A lot of they're like garden gnomes sometimes, but that's the thing I wanted to talk about. I feel like whenever I see a duende video, they're always different. They always look different, so that's why I don't believe it, because it's just like, why aren't they consistent? Like it's not like they're different races. They're just like diverse. Completely different. So I'm just gonna show you like one so we can talk about it, or two. So this is the video.
I think I've seen this one. Wait.
So they're just playing soccer, tossing the ball around in an apartment. It's always like 140p video quality.
It's just 420p.
There it is. You see it? You want me to replay it?
Yeah, wait, we need an instant replay.
You saw it? That looks like a Star Wars character. It looks like a fucking little.
Why did it have a cloak? Why was it dripped out?
That's what I'm saying. And then that one looks way different than this one that I'm gonna show you.
The little cloak.
But this one looks very like CGI. But like, let's look at this one. It goes like this. Did you see it? I like how they blur the fucking baby's face.
Anonymous baby, not an anonymous duende. Look at that motherfucker. Look at him run.
Like that one looks completely different in like size and shape from the other one. So those are the ones that I found. I feel like YouTube is better for duende content than TikTok. I couldn't find that much.
I have like this this bit where I try to get people to watch duende videos with me, and everybody thinks I'm being dead ass. Like I am being dead ass. Like watch duende videos with me, but they think it's because I like am like a conspiracy theorist, like trying to scare them. Like, but honestly, I just think it's gonna be funny, and I don't know if I should be laughing at that. Maybe
you did that once. Yeah, you can. You did that once, and I remember I didn't go home that night. I stayed there.
You were that scared?
Yeah, but I was also with my girlfriend. So that's why I didn't go home.
He's like, I stayed because I was so scared. Anyway, shoddy.
But I also saw an interesting phenomenon with the duende stuff. Whenever I came across another duende video once where they were like on a tree or something, and they were like, look, mira. And then all the comments were like, I'm sorry I looked at you without your permission. Like, apologizing to the fucking duende through TikTok.
He responds, it's okay.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? So, duendes, if you're watching this, Bruja, if you're watching this, I'm sorry you watched this without your permission. I would just like to say that.
Now I'm like getting scared actually, where I'm like, damn, I hope they don't come for. But you said they're regional. We're okay. We're good. America.
If you guys are watching this, like, comment, subscribe. Dale un like al video, comenta y suscríbete, por favor.
Danos un like, por favor.
If you want, we can tag you guys below. Just give us your handles.
Leave your at duendes.mx.
But anyways, that's all the spooky shit I had.
I love duende videos. I think they're so funny.
Do you want to talk about our duende living situation?
Oh my god, yeah. So lore, Alan and our lores that we lived together for I was gonna say 6 years, for 2 years in college, and in our apartment. It started as a joke. I was just like, oh, we have duendes, and it was because I would like misplace things, which I'm notorious to do, like doing that, to like misplace things. And I just couldn't find them again. And they would like dead ass go missing. And I was just like, there's duendes. And
they're taking our stuff.
Yeah. And then it happened to one of our friends. Sophia came over once and like her water bottle was.
Did you ever find that?
It was like a plastic water bottle, but like we still have no idea where it went.
That's scary.
Like we were just like playing a board game, and then she like reached for her water. She was like, "Where's my water?" And I was like, and it was nowhere to be found. We have no idea what happened to it. And I was like, dude, they're the duendes. Like they're the duendes.
Damn.
But then we got a duende protector. We got. Do you want to give the story of the duende protector?
Yeah, we did a white elephant once with Oregon in college, and I ended up getting Isabella, like a Barbie Isabella
from Encanto.
From Encanto, yeah. And I didn't want to take her out of the box. I wanted to keep her in mint condition, like Stinky Pete in Toy Story 2. But I didn't know what to do with her, so we just like pinned her to the wall, like close to the floor, like by our fireplace. And Natalia said that she was going to protect her from the duendes, as she did, until I lost my AirPod case. My AirPods just all completely, like they died in my apartment, and I never found them. So they're somewhere out there listening to music, maybe listening to this podcast with the AirPods.
With the AirPods. The duendes are just like
vibing.
I'm like, Apple, I have a commercial idea for you, actually. Like, if you'd let me pitch this, please. Like,
it'll be big in Mexico. It'll go viral. That's actually Apple's not the company that would do that, but I don't know. Samsung. Samsung's more popular in Mexico too, though. So
yeah, and they have like wireless buds, right?
Yeah. Earbuds, or I don't know what they're called.
Well, then Samsung, like, do I have an idea for you? Then we gotta copyright that idea.
Yeah, trademark it. Well, we have evidence.
We have evidence
that we did it. Anyways, well, is that it for the internet corner? Internet spooky start.
I think so. We're like 30 minutes in, and we're like
prime time.
Time to hop into the meat and bones of the episode, the gist. Which is music. So we're just going to talk about the music that we kind of grew up on, and like our parents' influences, like different eras of our lives, different eras of music that we listened to, kind of breaking it down. This is going to be a lot of lore, I guess, again.
Yeah. And I feel like we talk a lot about Latino representation when it comes to film and TV, but obviously there's also a conversation to be had about music. That's just not really our specialty. I know you play instruments. But I don't. But we don't know that much about the industry. And also I feel like Latino music has been popular. I mean, obviously it had some way to go, but I think it was always like a little bit ahead of film and TV.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because music's just been around longer as an art form.
Yeah, so.
So yeah, this is definitely gonna be like from a consumer perspective, like Alan said, like not from. We're not experts, guys. We're just two little Aladdin that like to listen to music. But let's break it down. Let's start with childhood.
Yeah, we're gonna go in like different like our eras. So like childhood, I broke it up into like childhood, then middle school, high school, college.
Same.
Okay,
Same.
perfect.
Beautiful.
Would you like to go first?
All right. So diving into my childhood, a lot of influences from obviously my parents and my grandparents, who would take care of my sisters and I a lot. From my dad's influence and my music taste is that I grew up listening to a lot of funk and like R&B/soul because of him. And when I was little, hated it. I was just like, oh, this is poppy music. Like, like, you know how you kind of like hate your parents' music taste when you're younger, and then when you grow older, you're like, ooh. Ooh, like this kind of goes hard.
I think that's a universal experience.
Yeah. So I just remember like listening to like funk, disco, R&B, soul from like the 70s, 80s. And I would like think of it as like boring music. I was like, this is boring music. I want to listen to Lady Gaga. I want to listen to Beyonce. Like as a child, like dead ass. But so that's my dad's influence, and I started with that because that is actually my favorite genre of music, like at the moment.
I know.
And then so my mom's influence is salsa and mambo. She went to Puerto Rico once when I was like in middle school, elementary school, and she came back with like a CD that she bought off of one of the locals of like music from Puerto Rico, and that CD lived in my car in the Honda Odyssey. It lived in that car, and we would listen to it going to school all the time. And like me and my sister would just be sitting in the back, and then like we just see my mom like press the CD thing, and we're like, oh no, here it comes. And it's like, que tú me tienes temblando de noche y de día. We're like, fuck. And so it was like that song every day on the way to school. So like, anyway, I actually love that song now. But back in the day, I was like, Mom, please stop it. So it was a lot of salsa. And then mambo from her and my grandpa. My grandpa was a trumpet player, and he loved Verdes, which is also like from Cuba. So we listened to a lot of mambo. So yeah, same thing. That other Verdes Prado's greatest hits also lived in my Honda Odyssey, and we would listen to that every single day going to school. And then for my grandma, my grandmothers, my first grandma would listen to the Señora radio station, but mostly like Spanish hits during the early 2000s. So listening to all those songs. And she listened to a lot of doo-wop music because my grandma, this grandma is first generation Mexican American, so she would listen to a lot of doo-wop music too.
Is she the one from East LA?
Yeah, she's the one from San Bernardino.
Oh,
so yeah, so she grew up in San Bernardino. So she would listen to a lot of Spanish radio and doo-wop. So that was really cool too to grow up with. And then my other grandma, she would listen to a lot of boleros and mariachi, and I feel like that is also prominent in my music taste today. But that's my childhood. That's like my childhood in a nutshell. My music.
Oh wow.
But yeah.
Damn. Did you add more?
I was just like trying to not forget things. I was like,
fair. I'll go ahead and do my childhood real quick. I put Barney and Elmo, but that was, of course, just a joke. I think similarly, a lot of my music taste comes from my parents, and again, very same. I didn't hate it growing up, but I was just like, ugh. It got to a point where I was just like, I want to listen to my own music, but we'll get to that later. So my mom would listen to like a lot of Latin pop, banda, maybe a little bit of bachata. Again, she would listen to the Señora radio, the Latin hits in the 2000s. So just a lot of that, a lot of Luis Miguel, Juan Gabriel, artists of that vein. While cleaning, doing a lot of banda, she would listen to a lot of the music that was popular around her time, which is like the 80s. So like all that cool stuff. And then my dad and my mom really like Spanish rock, so also I think my dad liked it a little bit more. So he would play that. I would enjoy that. I would actually really enjoy the Spanish rock. It was fun. But he also likes like mariachi and corrido, so that kind of taste that has come back also is from my dad. But that's kind of what I would listen to as a kid whenever we were in the car or just at home. So that's mine's short.
I went on like a whole like deep dive into my childhood. But do you want to start us off on the next era of your music taste?
So then the next era would probably happen. I think in this era I was also just listening to like pop music, whatever was on like Kiss FM, like the popular music station in all cities. But then when I was like, okay, well, I actually had this moment where in middle school, I think maybe 6th grade, maybe 6th or 7th grade, maybe beginning of 7th grade, someone asked me, they were like, hey, like, do you have any music recommendations? And I recommended them Ed Sheeran.
Said, I got a banger for you.
And I don't know why that was a pivotal moment, because I was like, I need to know better artists, or like I need to know more stuff. And that was a pivotal moment for me. And I was like, fuck, okay, well, I gotta like branch out. And I started to get into like a little bit more of like alternative rock. I started listening to like Imagine Dragons was like my gateway to like, I know it. Okay, guys, stop laughing. I'm sorry. That was like the stepping stone. I heard Radioactive and I was sold. And I was like, let me explore this. And I like started like on Pandora. And like it started to play like those kind of like alternative rock music, which is like okay, I'm starting like at the beginning. Like this is like gateway, like Coldplay, like but it wasn't like that much on the radio compared to the other stuff, or like not on the popular radio.
Yeah.
And I think middle school was also when I would start to take control of the radio whenever my mom would drive me places. Or like I'd be in the car with my mom. But yes, that would be middle school. Yeah. Some of it. So
I love the Ed Sheeran like catapult into your like alternative phase. Like somebody asked you for music recommendation, you were like, yeah, Ed Sheeran. Fuck.
I think he said something. He's like, "Oh, that's like interesting," or something along those lines. Or it's like you listen to interesting music, or like, and I was like, "Fuck."
Oh, that's cool.
But it was like, I wouldn't have had that moment any other way. I don't think it like made me think like you gotta be yourself, your own person, or like you get me.
It needed to happen.
Yeah,
it needed to happen, and you know what?
Maybe Ed Sheeran was put on this planet for something. Just kidding. I don't hate him. I did like his music at one point.
Real. What year was this? Do you remember? Like what Ed Sheeran era?
Well, it was like his early stuff before I got like really, really poppy. When it was like him and a guitar in a dream.
When it was him and a guitar in a dream.
It was when he was still naming his albums like Plus.
Oh, okay.
Like Edition.
Or, when he was like being a little like secretive. Okay.
It was A-Team.
Okay.
Like his like early stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of his early work.
I knew him before he blew up. Okay, that's lit. So that was your middle school or your?
Yeah, middle school was like alternative rock, and it kind of it's been there ever since.
I see.
And it like obviously with time it grew with a little bit more. Like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, like kind of like that dad rock stuff, the Killers, things like that.
See that's a fun phase. So shout out Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, I consider this like my emo phase because I was also like slightly tapping into emo. Like I listened to some MCR, My Chemical Romance, a little bit of Paramore, but it was like this era is like the popular songs of like all of these type of bands from like these genres, because you know it's like this, like it branches out. It's like the most popular songs from like all of these bands. It's like what I would listen to.
Valid, real.
Your turn.
Okay, let's see. Oh, I just wrote a bunch of mumbo jumbo. I added that in elementary school. I had a dubstep era.
Oh,
that was a week long. And times were tough, guys. Let me just say that.
For music, or what do you mean?
For me. The context to this was there was this guy that I like kind of like forced myself to have a crush on. And he liked dubstep. Like, he was Skrillex's #1 fan. Like, if he had Spotify Wrapped, like, it would just be fucking bangerang over and over and over again. And I was like, everybody else was like, like, you know, like in their like boy craze era. And I was like, what's going on, guys? I was like, shocker, guys. I didn't have a boy craze era. And
I like how this crush era lasted 1 week.
I was like, if I have to listen to Bangerang one more time and listen to you talk about your fucking Nike Elite socks, like, I'm literally gonna kill it.
Hey, what do you have against? No, I'm just kidding. What do you have against running shoes?
It was me. I was the girl. But so my dubstep era lasted a week. I was really trying to like get into to fuck with it, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. It was like, and I feel like even now, like, house music I don't really like.
When was this?
5th grade.
I see. So yeah, I'm right at the cusp.
right at the cusp of middle school. So I thought that was a fun little piece of lore to put in.
It is, yeah.
That I had a dubstep era.
Maybe you don't like it because you associate it with that time.
Oh, maybe.
And every time you hear house music, you're either, oh God, a recession, or oh God, a boy.
Oh God, a boy. So maybe I'll give dubstep another chance now that I'm more aware of my life. But no, and then really middle school, towards the end of elementary school, was also like top 100s era, trying to fit in. And then I also wrote that I was uncooperative towards the boy band phase because I was just gay. Like, I just couldn't get into it.
Oh, which is crazy because I feel like early middle school I liked One Direction a lot.
Like, oh yeah, shit.
I had a One Direction phase, so I mean I wasn't boy crazy, but I was like, I liked her shit. I don't know what that was. I don't know if I was just trying to be different. I like the way this sang. I'll say it. I like the way One Direction sings.
What can I say? I love their vocals. What can I say? But I feel like that also just started me being uncooperative towards the boy band phase, which all of my friends were going through intensely, might I add. Is kind of catapulted me into the emo phase, because that, and like my sisters, like I talked about like in episode 1, because the emo phase was so like, they hated like One Direction. They were real music isn't played on the radio. And that was me unironically. Like, you know those memes that are just like what people say real music is, and it's like, you a stupid hoe, you like Nicki Minaj, and they're like, what I think real music is like, because tonight will be the night. Like, I would post those unironically. Like, I was so behind them. I was like, yeah, like they know what I'm talking. I was also like 10. Yeah, life is just so tough, you know. Life is just so tough. I forgot my fucking Club Penguin password. It's fucking crazy. Ruined my whole day. Ruined my whole day. Well, my parents are like struggling with a recession. I was like giving my dad a virus trying to download like My Chemical Romance album. Having no clue. Oh my God. That was a core memory. Anyway. That should be a movie, like a kid's perspective of the recession. We'll make it. We'll make the movie. But yeah, so my emo era was born mostly because I just didn't want to be like other girls. That's like goes hand in hand, right? Just like, I guess kind of. And also just because like, yeah, because, and then I had talked about like my sisters were in the emo phase, and I had like mentioned it in a comment because one of my sister's old best friends, like from elementary school, started following us, and she left a comment on the emo video. And then I like responded. I was just like, you don't know this, but like, and when my oldest sister was in middle school, you gave her a CD with like a bunch of emo songs. And like I listened to that CD and like that's how my emo phase started. Like and she was like, oh my god.
That's what she was put on this earth to do. Just like Ed Sheeran. She was your Ed Sheeran.
She was my Ed Sheeran. Thank you for that. But yeah, I mean, my emo era was mostly My Chemical Romance. Huge My Chemical Romance fan. That was almost my first concert in 6th grade, but my mom thought I was too young because my sister and my cousins were going. Yeah. And my mom was like, you're a little too young for that. And then like a month later, they broke up. I was like, thanks, Mom. Thank you, Mom. I remember I cried at the middle school dance.
That's when you found out?
Because they broke up.
Wow.
They broke up in March and it was like hashtag forever march on.
What a tough day for you.
Right. I was trying to do the cha-cha slide.
With tears?
I couldn't get into it. I was like, MCR's broken up.
2 tears this time.
2 tears this time. My like eyeliner. But yeah, so no, My Chemical Romance was not my first concert. Madonna was. Just cunty in my opinion. And then Paramore, I remember finding out about Paramore in a Hot Topic. Like I was just in there shopping for My Chemical Romance and Gurr shirts. Do you remember Gurr?
Oh, I remember Gurr shirts and like memes before they were memes. Yeah. And
then I heard Fences by Paramore playing and I was like I grabbed like my phone and was like trying to figure out what that song was.
We're thinking about so many commercial ideas. That should be a commercial Hot Topic.
Oh,
like kind of like a nostalgia campaign of like relive your like
I see
emo era, and it's just like
dang,
because that's like really like it's really special for you.
Yeah, no, for real. That was also my Ed Sheeran. My Ed Sheeran.
He's multiplying.
Second coming of the Ed Sheeran. But yeah, so Paramore, still really love Paramore. And then I wrote that when my emo phase started, I intentionally seeked out smaller bands because the concert prices were cheaper and then I could go see them. And I re-listened to some of them now because I would use my mom's iTunes account. So my mom still has all the songs on her phone. She would sometimes play her music on shuffle and I'm like, these were not good. They're not good songs. But like, anyway.
You were supporting artists. You were supporting people's dreams.
I was supporting I was keeping their lights on.
And if you guys want to keep our lights on, like, comment, subscribe.
Please. But I mean, that's we're still in like elementary school.
I know. Goddamn. No, that's fine. We have time.
Oh yeah. And then I also had like an all era, but that was because like I tried to get into screamo, but I just couldn't. So I just did a full 180. Into like alt.
I was never a fan of screamo either, and I liked alt. It was like kind of like chill,
yeah,
a little bit soothing,
yeah.
For dads, you know,
yeah.
Very Weezer,
edgy. Yeah.
That type of stuff. Do you want to go into high school?
I feel like you can go into high school because I just talked so much.
Going into high school, I was still in that kind of alternative music era, refining my taste, getting into these bands a little bit more. But I also was into a lot of 70s and 80s music. I remember a freshman in high school and a sophomore in high school working on my engineering projects because I was taking an engineering class. I wasn't an engineering student. But I would just play that music. And I talked about this in the other podcast, the Pod of Cultura, but it's interesting looking back at that time. It's good music, but I felt like it was also me trying to... I didn't grow up listening to that much music. I listened to a little bit of 80s music because my dad grew up in the 80s and he liked that music, obviously. But other music like 60s, 70s, 80s, I wouldn't really hear a lot. So during this time, I was like growing up, seeing myself stepping into I'm in high school, but like stepping into like an adult world, or like that seems a lot closer now, like because I'm gonna have to start picking colleges soon and like going out into the real world that isn't 100% Latina. like the community where I come from, maybe I was just like, okay, well now I gotta like try to learn that culture as well. Like I've been immersed in Mexican culture for so long, maybe I need to like start expanding. And one way that I think I did that was with music, and I had a great time. I like that music still very much, but it was very much like listening to like white artists from that were like popular in that era. But that was an era, I think, at the beginning of middle school. Towards the end of middle school, I started listening to a little bit more of hip hop and rap, just because my friends grew up listening to that because they had like older siblings who put them onto that, and I was like, I am the oldest, so I don't know. And they helped me. That's when my Drake era started. I started listening to Drake,
The infamous
J.
Drake
Cole.
era.
And yeah, looking back at that era very fondly too. Expanding my music taste even further, and yeah, going back to alternative rock every now and then during high school.
Did you ever feel like listening to those more like, you know, quote unquote like white or like American artists that did get you closer to like the world that you were like trying to familiarize yourself with?
Oh, definitely. I said this last episode, I think, that The Simpsons also very much helped, and that was just like, that was more about like the film and TV aspect of like media and just like what was going on in the US during these times. But with the music, it definitely helped. Again, going back to like movies, but if I heard a song in a movie or somewhere popular, I was like, oh, I know what that is. I know where that's from. And I can talk about it with other people, which really helped, you know, when I was in different settings. Things like that.
Pop culture literacy almost.
Yeah. So like I had the pop culture of like film and TV from The Simpsons over here. And now I had to do this on my own, which is like just research that music and the impact that it had. I also watched this series that CNN did. It was like a show. I don't remember what it was called. It was on Netflix, but it was like I think it was just called like the 80s. They did the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and it had maybe like 4 episodes or 5 episodes, and one of them would be like just about the music in the 80s and how that affected just popular culture in general. Then the other one was like film and TV and just like the golden era of TV and like when that was, and just like things like that. Those are really great if you haven't seen them. It's very interesting to see how like stuff built on top of one another. But yes. Anyways. Yeah,
because like I think I remember that being one of the main things that I noticed like when we first met, like when we first started living together. Was you liked a lot of 80s music, but it was a lot of like, because like my dad listened to a lot of 80s music, but it was a lot of like funk and like things that usually like, you know, black people or like Mexican American people would listen to. And so I was just like, oh shit, like you like a lot of like the other 80s, like the popular 80s or like the mainstream 80s.
And I think that was also just when I was looking for stuff. Again, I was just doing this research on my own. I would just type in like 80s music on Spotify and the playlist would be, that's what it would be, like the popular white music from the time.
Yeah. So
but I also do like the funk and stuff now. Like it's funk. Like 80s R&B and soul. Oh my god, amazing. Great.
Yeah. Slay. So that was your high school?
That was my high school, and no Spanish stuff yet.
Dang.
No Spanish music yet. I don't think in high school.
No, because that was my next point. In high school, for some reason, in high school, I like rejected a lot of Spanish music. Like specifically when corridos tumbados were first kind of starting out. Like I don't know what was going on. Like it was just like I got the idea in my head that listening to that kind of music would make me quote unquote paisa, and that was a bad thing. That's
the word that I was like, I remember I was trying to think of the word paisa.
Yeah, like
that I think that was my mentality too.
Like I somehow got it in my head that being paisa would be a bad thing, even though like realistically like I don't really identify with that anyway, but like listening to that kind of music or something, like I just really rejected it. And I feel like it also had to do with the fact that I did grow up in the Bay Area, which is further up north, because when my older sister moved and went to college in San Diego, that music was huge because like San Diego is really close to Mexico. And so she would listen to a lot of that music too when she went to college. And I was just like, I just remember being like, dang, like so like now she's Paisa or something, and I was just like, wait, but why is this a bad thing? Like it's so normalized down here, but then up there it's like a little bit of a different culture, I think.
I think I also had that, like, I didn't want to fit that stereotype, especially because I kind of looked the part a little bit. But yeah, I didn't want to be like that Ka or that Edgar, like listening to that stuff. But yeah, I also stayed away from that. It kind of like a little bit embarrassing too.
Yeah.
To catch, to like, even like if my parents heard me listening to this stuff, like I thought that would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know why. Like, looking back at it, I'm like, ugh, could have been such a well-rounded person.
Right. I just like wasn't open to being open, I guess. Duh, but like. But
I guess it would also, it goes into this other point where once I wasn't in that space anymore, that's when I started almost exclusively listening to music in Spanish when I went to college.
When you were no longer in like the high school setting?
When I was no longer in 100% Latina community.
Oh, I see. Kind of like to reconnect in a way.
I guess.
Maybe.
But I was just like, I don't know why that happened. Like exclusively like listening to the stuff my mom used to listen to, or like I made playlists. I made a banda playlist. I made a bachata playlist. I made a Spanish 2000s pop playlist, and that's a rock en español playlist. And like that happened like within like a couple of weeks, where I made like 4 playlists and I listened to those exclusively.
Yeah, because that must be like a common thing to go through in college then, like, because I feel like when you're pushed out of that community, you kind of like try to latch onto a sense of familiarity and a sense of comfort. A lot of the times it's music. Yeah. And I think it definitely was that. Yeah, just like trying to hold on and being like, oh, back to my roots, guys. Like, let me listen to all these Spanish songs that I grew up with, and you grow like a totally different appreciation for them after that. Definitely. After you're like pushed out of your box. But yeah, so I'm upset at myself for rejecting so much of that as a teenage girl. But I have.
Are you still in high school?
This is like high school, college. I had a lo-fi hip hop era.
To study to?
To listen. For my enjoyment. But it wasn't like, it was like definitely more like hip hop than it was lo-fi. I see. But lo-fi actually got me into video creation, like the music. Because I would like, the vlogging era. Yeah. What was that, like 2017?
Yeah, 2015.
2015?
2016, 2017, maybe 2018.
Yeah, it was like the vlog era where like that kind of music was really popular to like make your vlogs too.
Casey Neistat.
Yeah. And so I was like really into that kind of music, even though I didn't vlog, but I would make a lot of like, I don't know, I guess like videography work in a way. And like I would like get a bunch of songs in a playlist, and like I would like have a vision because of the song, like see what I want to do, and like go out and create something like based off of that. Too. Yeah, like I have the edit in mind, and I feel like that also is why I shoot with the edit in mind a lot now, because like it always would start with a song. Like I would hear a song and be like, I want to make a video to that, and then go out.
I feel like I had those thoughts too.
Yeah, and I feel like because just music, because I feel like I also played instruments growing up. I forgot to mention that, and I also danced a little bit. So I feel like I was just always thinking about music and like tempo and like rhythm and stuff like that, and I incorporate that a lot into the way that I edit and the way that I shoot and the way that I actually make films. So, so shout out Lo-Fi Hip Hop Girl. If you're watching this, Lo-Fi Hip Hop Girl, give us a like,
give us a comment, subscribe.
Down
Put
below.
your handle down below if you want us to tag you.
Give us a shout out. But yeah, so Lo-Fi Hip Hop got me into video creation, and that started in high school. And then beautiful. And then just like the indie underground artist era, where I was also continued to be like, I want to be like other girls, like
or less extreme.
Yeah, less
a little bit more annoying. Not you, but like the kind of like all.
Yeah.
The alt aesthetic.
Kind of. Except I didn't have the aesthetic, but I did have the music taste. But indie Spanish music, unmatched. Yeah. I love it. But yeah, and then that just leads to my all over the place era, which you are very familiar with.
Yeah.
Which is just, I'm not a playlist girly, I'm a shuffle girly. I like to I like to shuffle, and I will just fucking shuffle all my music. So anytime I'm on the aux, it's like 20 million different genres in one go.
Yeah, which you put it, you're all over the place era, which I find that interesting because I was thinking like what I call this era now, and I think it's just like a culmination of everything that I've listened to, everything that I've listed so far. Like I go back to it every so often, which I didn't mention reggaeton. I didn't like reggaeton for such a long time, even like the first 2 years of college maybe, and then the last 2 years of college has been very much my top genre probably. And I like it very much. But yeah, now it's everything under the sun.
No, for real.
We mentioned
anything with a good beat, anything with a good bass line. Oof, I eat it up.
And I'm glad that these were like all moments of growth and of exploration, and that have led us here. And I can't wait to see where the music takes us next.
Exactly. Music always helps me create. So, real
beautiful. And with that, I think we're reaching the end of the episode, Natalia.
You know, this one's kind of long.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Sweaty.
Yeah, it's very hot in here.
It's so hot in here.
But with that, any final words?
Do you have a Latino artist shout out?
Fuck, I forgot. But I believe I do. Don't pay attention to Drake.
Don't mind Drakey over here. Don't mind Sir Aubrey.
My Latino artist of the week is Flaco Alejandro. He is, oh my God, he's very, I don't want to say underground, but like he doesn't have that many listeners on Spotify. But he does a great job of like kind of mixing indie music with like cumbia music. Ooh. It's very interesting. I think I will listen to one of his songs, which is his most popular, but I saved this fool. I was like, I need to listen to more of him. I followed him on Instagram and I followed him here. So go ahead and give him a stream. Give him a hear. Give him a
hear ye. Give him a listen.
Give him a listen. Go ahead, find him on Spotify. We'll start putting like links down below to their Spotifys or to their music, Instagrams, whatever. With that being said, see you guys next week.
See you next. Don't forget to follow us. Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at the Hand Me Down Podcast. And on TikTok at the Hand Me Down Podcast. We post clips there. Make sure to engage with us. We would love to hear from you. If you're listening on audio device, make sure to give us a 5 stars and review the episode.
Yeah. We really want to know what your guys' Ed Sheeran was. So let us know on our social medias. But with that, thank you so much for listening to yet another episode of the Hand Me Down Podcast. Hope you had a giggle. Hope you had a laugh. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.